6.1 Allocation Method and Efficiency. This chapter discusses the alternative methods of allocating scarce resources and define and explain the features of an efficient allocation. Economic efficiency is where when every scarce resource in economy is used and distributed among producers and consumers in a way that produces the most economic output and benefit to consumers. Economic efficiency implies an economic state in which every resource is optimally allocated to serve each individual or entity in the best way while minimizing waste and inefficiency. When an economy is economically efficient, any changes made to assist one entity would harm another. In terms of production, goods are produced at their lowest possible cost, as are the variables input of production. Different method of resource allocation. Resources might be allocated by using any one or some combination of the following methods, that is market price, command, majority rule, contest, first come first served, sharing equally, lottery, personal characteristics, and force. Market price. Markets use price as signals to allocate resources to their highest value users. Consumers will pay higher prices for the good they value more highly. Producers will devote more resources to the production of goods and services that have higher prices, other things being equal. What and how much to produce? In a market, resources are allocated based on the demand and supply, in which prices play a signaling function as it allocates resources to the production of different types of goods. It also acts as a signaling mechanism between buyers and sellers, telling them how much and what to produce. Price shows how much consumers are willing and able to pay, signaled by the demand curve. How much producers are willing and able to produce is shown by the supply curve. For whom to produce? Price mechanism also shows what to produce these resources for. This is shown by the demand curve, which signifies consumers' willingness and ability to pay. In a way, it represents the economic dollar votes and shows the producers should produce for these consumers. Price acts as a mechanism in a market economy and distributes the output only to people who are able and willing to pay for the good. How to produce? Prices of resource and factors of production also address the question of how to produce various goods and services. An economy can choose to produce using various factors of production like labor or capital. Price of resources should guide firms' production method, and firms choose resources that are cheapest and incur the lowest opportunity cost. Command. The command system allocates resources by the order or command of someone in authority. Sometimes a command system allocates the resources of an entire economy. The former Soviet Union is an example. North Korea and Cuba are the only remaining command economies. A command system works well in organization which lines of authority and responsibilities are clear and it is easy to monitor the activities being performed. But a command system works badly when applied to an entire economy. The range of activities to be monitored is just too large, and it is easy for people to fool those in authority. The system works so badly in North Korea that it fails even to deliver adequate supply of food. Majority rule allocates resources in the way the majority voters choose. Some societies use majority rule for some of the biggest decisions. For example, tax rates that allocate resources between private and public use, and tax dollars between competing uses such as defense and healthcare. Majority rules work well when the decision affects a lot of people and self-interest must be suppressed to use resources efficiently. Contest allows resources to a winner or a group of winners. The most obvious contests are sporting events, but they occur in other arenas. For example, the Oscars are a type of contest. A contest works well when the efforts of the players are hard to monitor and reward directly. Even though only a few people end up with a big prize, many people work harder in the process of trying to win, and so total production is much greater than it would be without the contest. First come, first served allocates resources to those who are first in line. Casual restaurants use first come, first served to allocate tables. Supermarket also uses first come, first served at checkout. Most national parks allocate campsites in this way. Airline use first come first served to allocate standby seats at the departure gate. A freeway is an everyday example of first come first served. This scarce transportation resource gets allocated to the first to arrive at the on-ramp. If too many vehicles enter the freeway, the speed slows and people in effect wait in line for a bit of the freeway to become free. First come first served works best when scarce resources can serve just one person at a time in a sequence. By serving the user who arrives first, this method minimizes the time spent waiting in line for the resource to become free. Sharing equally. When a resource is shared equally, everyone gets the same amount of it. You perhaps use this method to share dessert at a restaurant. People sometimes jointly own a vacation apartment and share it use equally. To make equal share work, people must agree on how to use the resource and must make an arrangement to implement the agreement. Sharing equally can work for small groups who share a set of common goals and ideals. Lottery. Allocate resource to those with the winning number, who draw the lucky cards, or who come up lucky on some other gaming system. State lotteries and casinos reallocate millions of dollars worth of goods and services each year. But lotteries are more widespread. For example, they are used to allocate landing slots at some airports. Lotteries work well when there is no effective way to distinguish among potential users of a scarce resource. Personal characteristics. Allocate resources to those with the right characteristics. For example, people choose marriage partners on the basis of personal characteristics. But this method gets used in unacceptable ways, allocating the best jobs to white males or discriminating against minorities and women. Force. War has played an enormous role historically in allocating resources. Theft, taking property of others without their consent, also plays a large role. But force provides an effective way of allocating resources for the state to transfer wealth from the rich to the poor and establish the legal framework in which voluntary exchanges can take place in markets. After studying the different methods of allocating resources, let's check using resources efficiently. How can we use these resources efficiently? Let's see. In everyday language, efficiency means getting the most of something. An efficient automobile is that gets the best possible gas mileage. An efficient furnace is one that uses as little fuel as possible to deliver its heat. In economics, efficiency means getting the most out of the entire economy. Efficiency and the PPF. The production possibility frontier, or PPF, is the boundary between the combination of goods and services that can be produced and those that cannot be produced given the available factors of production and state of technology. Production is efficient when the economy is on its PPF. Production at a point inside the PPF is inefficient. Allocative efficiency is achieved when the quantities of goods and services produced are those that people value most highly. It is not possible to produce more of a good or service without giving up some of another good that people value more highly. The PPF tells us what it is possible to produce, but it doesn't tell us about the value or the benefit of what we produce. To find the high valued point on the PPF, we need some information about value. The marginal benefit provides that information. The value of one more unit of a good or services is its marginal benefit. Marginal benefit is the benefit that people receive from consuming one more unit of a good or service. People's preferences determine marginal benefit, and we can measure the marginal benefit from a good or a service by what people are willing to give up to get one more unit of it. The marginal benefit decreases as more of the good is consumed, the principle of decreasing marginal benefit. You really enjoy the first slice, but each additional slice is less enjoyable than the previous one. The more pizza you have, the less of some other good or service you are willing to give up to get one more slice. Therefore, marginal benefit curve is downward sloping. In the figure, marginal benefit from pizza decreases as the quantity of pizza available increases. Marginal cost. Marginal cost is the opportunity cost of producing one more unit of a service or good. It is minimum price that a firm is willing to accept. The marginal cost is measured as the value of the best alternative foregone to get one more unit of the good or service. The marginal cost increases as more of the good is produced, the principle of increasing marginal cost. Therefore, marginal cost curve is upward sloping. The table and the graph below shows the marginal cost of a pizza. Points A, B, and C in the graph represent the possibilities in the table. The marginal cost curve shows that the marginal cost of a pizza increases as the quantity of pizza produced increases, in the sense that its opportunity cost in terms of other will increase as more of one pizza is produced. Market equilibrium, disequilibrium, and allocative efficiency. Now let's study the meaning of allocative efficiency in a market. Allocative efficiency is the state of an economy in which production is aligned with consumer preferences. As the supply of one good increases, demand for the good decreases. In other words, society wants it less. As the opportunity cost of producing one more good increases while society's aggregate desire for the good decreases, then there is a certain quantity of each individual good or service that provides the maximum satisfaction to society. This is the market equilibrium. How well economic resources are allocated to satisfy economic wants is allocative efficiency, which is the production of those goods and services most desired by society in the desired quantity. Allocative efficiency looks at the marginal benefit of consumption compared to the marginal cost. Every specific allocation of resources has an opportunity cost, which is what is given up to produce a specific good. Because of economies of scale, opportunity cost at first decline when producing more goods. But when production exceeds a certain amount, then the opportunity cost or the cost of producing additional unit, that is marginal cost, starts to increase or increasing marginal cost. On the other hand, the marginal benefit, which is the benefit to society of the last unit, also declines while increasing quantity, that is decreasing marginal benefit. Since the amount of price that consumers are willing to pay for a particular product depends on the marginal benefit or value of the last unit produced, a producer can maximize profit by producing more units. Allocative efficiency will occur at an output when marginal benefit or price equals marginal cost. If the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal cost, then people will be willing to pay a higher price than the economic cost of production, which therefore allows the manufacturer to increase profits by producing more. When allocative efficiency is maximized with respect to the good, then the manufacturer is producing the good in the exact quantities that society desires. On the other hand, if the manufacturer produces more goods than what society desires, then the price they are willing to pay will be less than the economic cost of production and will cause profits to drop. Production efficiency occurs at all points in the PPF, but allocative efficiency occurs only one point on the PPF. The marginal cost curve, or MC, is a firm's supply curve because marginal cost is the cost of producing an additional unit of a commodity that is paid by those producing the commodity. MC is upward sloping due to increasing marginal cost as seen on the PPF. Opportunity cost is increasing from one point to another. Since resources become scarce as output of a good increases, MC increases, therefore producers are only willing to supply more of a good as price rises. The marginal benefit curve, or MB, is the firm's demand curve. The vertical distance is the amount of price consumers are willing to pay for the unit. Willing to pay reflects the benefit derived from each unit. The downward sloping reflects the fact that consumers derive less additional benefit from each unit of pizza they consume. A competitive market will produce at a point where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, or where MB is equal to MC. On the PPF at point A, we produce too few pizzas. When quantity is relatively low at 2000 pizzas, we see that we have a high marginal benefit at point A and a low MC at point B. This means MB is greater than MC at 2000 pizzas. We are receiving more of a benefit than we are losing in cost. Market is allocatively inefficient because not enough output is being produced. Get more value from resources by producing more pizzas, we are better off moving along the PPF to produce more pizzas. In this case, prices are very low. On the PPF at point C, we produce too many pizzas. When we move to 6000 pizzas, we see that MC at point C is greater than MB at point D, which means that MC is greater than MB. We are giving up more in cost than we are receiving in benefit. We get more value from resources by producing few pizzas. In this case, prices are too high. When 4000 pizzas are produced, MB is equal to MB, the efficient MC is equal to MB, the efficient quantity of pizzas are being produced. Chapter review. Ways of allocating resources include market price, command, majority rule, contest, first come first served, sharing equally, lottery, personal characteristics, and force. Allocative efficiency occurs when we produce the quantities of goods and services on the PPF that people value most highly. Marginal benefit is the benefit that people receive from consuming one more unit of the product. The marginal benefit curve is also demand curve and is downward sloping due to diminishing marginal utility. Marginal cost is the opportunity cost of producing one more unit of the product, and the marginal cost curve is upward sloping due to increasing opportunity cost. It is also the supply curve. Allocative efficiency occurs where MB is equal to MC and the curves intersect.